Thank you very much for making a date on the marketplace. Now, let's also for the very first story. Ecobank and Bank could in the coming months rely on third-party outlets to provide total banking services to the public. This is because the two banks have secured approval from the Bank of Ghana to roll out what can be described as agency banking. There's more in this report.
The move would also result in the two banks rely on shopping outlets and service stations to bring banking closer to the public. However, sources close to the Bank of Ghana say there will be some sort of restrictions on the amount of money that they can take at these outlets. The initiative is part of measures to help extend financial services to the unbanked. Banks in the country over the years have struggled to improve the culture of savings despite several innovative products. Analysts say this is seen as part of several regulatory measures to help deal with this challenge in the country.
And away from that, Deputy Minister of Finance Kweku Kwarteng is advocating independent structures and systems that would help improve transparency in revenue collections from the extractive sector. This was after the latest Ghana Extractive Industries Transparency Report for the oil and gas sector as well as mining showed some discrepancies in taxes paid by the companies as compared to what was realized by the state. There's more in this report.
According to the report, only 2 companies out of the 15 large-scale companies engaged in the exploration of minerals paid dividends during the period under review between January and December 2015. The companies were Goldfields Ghana Limited and Ghana Manganese Company Limited. The dividend payment as a source of government review has so far not been consistent. The recommendation from the report is that government reviews its policy on the 10% carried interest in all mining enterprises. Deputy Finance Minister Kweku Kwarteng tells Joy Business the development is worrying and that everything must be done to correct it.
The gaps in the administration of the revenues, the gaps in the administration of the industries themselves that are highlighted in these reports are definitely matters government must pay close attention to, and perhaps also importantly, the media and other stakeholders must all look at the content of this report and shape and make sure the content shapes the way we relate to our extractive sector. As the point has been made, the minerals and the petroleum of these sectors are exhaustible resource.
There are serious discrepancies between tax payments made by some oil and mining companies and what has actually been realized by the state. Co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industries and Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiao, in an interview with Joy Business, proposed a change in some regulations for the sector to enable the state to realize the desired resources.
We are recommending that government re-examines this whole arrangement in respect of our 10% carried interest. We may want to consider drawing lessons from the oil sector, where our carried interest is calculated as a share of production and taken up front, so that it is not dependent on whether or not the oil companies declare profits. And for me, when we go that way, we will ensure that at all times, Ghana will be receiving something for its 10% carried interest in the mining sector.
The documents looked at the operations of companies in the oil and gas sector, as well as mining for the year 2015.
Let's now turn our attention to the telecoms sector, where telecoms operator Airtel Tigo has debunked rumors of possible takeover by another company at the end of its merging process. There are some speculations that the merged entity, Airtel Tigo, is likely to be taken over by French telecoms giant Orange after the merging process is completed. However, CEO Roshi Motman is denying the claims. She says the focus of Airtel Tigo now is to provide better and quality customer services.
The reason we merged was to have more customers, happier customers, and then obviously for the market it was a very good move because of the fragmentation of the market. So for sure our plans are to increase market share and revenue share in the market. Focus for us is to make sure that we deliver on our promises to our customers and that we go through a very successful integration and consolidation period. For now, there are no discussions about another process, another merger.
Rashid Motman was speaking at a press briefing to announce its partnership with Telecoms company Ericsson to enable a smooth integration process. She added that the integration process between Airtel and Tigo is likely to finally end in 2019.
There will be stepwise progress. So starting from today, there will be things that happens on the network which will improve the customer experience towards the aim, which is wider network coverage, faster data speeds, and a superior voice quality. But it will take until end of year, a latter part and end of year until we can see the full bloom experience. The full consolidation of the merger would drag a little bit into 2019 as
Now, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, last Tuesday launched the mobile money interoperability system in Accra. However, barely a week afterwards, checks by Joy Business indicate that many subscribers to mobile money services are yet to come to terms with how the new system works and to migrate onto it. Now, Charles Aite has been engaging the MD in charge of technology and operations at the Ghana Interbank and Payment Settlement Systems, GhIPSS, Kwejo Tim, who first explains exactly what the concept of interoperability means.
Mobile money interoperability from GhIPSS standpoint of view is the facility that allows a customer of a mobile operator to be able to send money from their wallet to another subscriber on another network.
So when you say wallet, you're just trying to mean a mobile money account to a different one?
Yes. So mobile money operators have accounts for their subscribers. And so to be able to transfer money from one wallet to another is a facility that is available on the network. To be able to move the money from the network to another subscriber on another network is a facility that was a little difficult to do. And so mobile networks had various arrangements to do that in the past. In the mobile money interoperability, GhIPSS has provided a seamless way to do that because we have interconnected all the operators. And so going forward, the use of alternatives like the token and so on and so forth is largely going to reduce.
So what this means is that if I have a mobile network and I just use my mobile money account to send a particular amount of money to a different network altogether, is there a cost to pay?
Yes, like everything, there's a cost to it. Of course, the operators and GhIPSS and anybody within the chain has a cost to incur in providing that service. So there is definitely a cost to the transaction. The objective, however, is to progressively reduce that cost to the point where it allows as many of the populace to be able to effect transactions within the space and thereby improve financial inclusion.
So does that mean that the whole era of having to visit a mobile money merchant is over?
Not at all. Like it said, the only constant in life is change. And so some of the things that mobile money merchants are doing today may have been taken up by the interoperability. Indeed, for some of the things that they already do, were not supposed to be happening. What mobile money interoperability is doing is to make things happen faster. But on the flip side, it also opens up additional opportunities to the mobile money merchants because you most likely start to see various dynamics within the space where commissions are improving for the merchants because now mobile money merchants can send money across networks. There will be improvements in the volume of transactions, and so the number of people who are approaching them for cash outs would go up, and so on and so forth.
Meanwhile, CEO of the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, GhIPSS, has been responding to some concerns by third-party agents and mobile money subscribers or merchants over the possibility of being kicked out of business. Speaking to Joy Business, he explained the operation gives such affected businesses the chance to innovate.
I remember when GhIPSS started and we had to introduce GH-Link, where all the banks are supposed to be connected to the national switch. And if you want to cross over, you must mandatorily come through GhIPSS. Before that time, we had other switching companies in the country. You remember eTransact, etc. They had federal switches where if you're moving between Bank A and Bank B, you go through them and not through the national switch. And the same question was posed. What happens to their business now? We work with them. And as you know, eTransact has now moved towards the prepaid, postpaid, and they are actually offering a wide range of services to the banks. eTransact is connected to us, and they also have connections to a lot of services, electricity, DSTV, etc., and they are serving customers in the citizenry as the case is. There will be a shift in focus. So instead of the MNOs, the fintech companies occupying the interoperable system or mimicking the interoperable system, it's important for it to be handled by the national switch. And they, in turn, can maybe focus on downstream systems that individuals and businesses can use. It's in that regard why we have a relationship with them. You remember the vice president who is championing all this took the fintech companies to the Silicon Valley to see how they work in relation with the Central Bank of America and the national switches there. We were part of them, and tomorrow we have a follow-up meeting on how we can start aligning or realigning ourselves in light of development that is currently being happened. So it's not a case where we are saying, right, we've occupied this space, therefore that go away. We are working with them because we really need them. GhIPSS will never go downstream, but we're going to build the fundamental block, the backbone for all fintechs to hinge on. And there are so many things they can be doing. If they are not aware of it, in our partnership with them, we'll bring it to their attention. Yeah, at the moment.
Now, the Noguchi Memorial Institute since 2009 has not received any government funding for research activities. The institute has therefore been on other funding sources which only give support for research they are interested in. The center has been involved in some novelty investigations, including discovering the HIV virus and vaccines for children below 5 years. Odilia Ntiama spent a day at the center looking at the business of science research and has come through with this report.
We're currently at the Noguchi Vestergaard Lavi Lab, and we're actually talking about a subject matter that is not really palatable, and I'm sure a lot of you do not like mosquitoes, but well, right here, my colleague is already getting goosebumps, but right here are mosquitoes that are being reared, and then, well, tests will be run on them and results sent to the company called Vestergaard, and what they do is to produce mosquito-treated nets. So mosquito-treated nets don't just pop up. They will have to go through processes, and this is what Noguchi does. From larva to the matured mosquito, Noguchi scientists grow the mosquitoes for companies who want to develop different products for the prevention of malaria. Currently, research into different mosquito-treated nets by the world's leading manufacturer Vestergaard. The company, through the Malaria Control Board and Noguchi, have developed mosquito nets to counter mosquitoes that have grown resistant to their current nets in certain parts of the country.
There are areas where they've discovered resistance, and in such places they do management, there's management that they do. So the malaria control program, for instance, if they find out, like for instance, that the nets for a particular insecticide is not working in an area, Vestergaard recently has developed a one with PBU, something called PBU, a synergist. That is, it's not an insecticide, but then it increases the toxicity of an insecticide. So it's a synergist insecticide impregnated nets. So in an area where you have that particular insecticide being resistant, the presence of the synergist kind of increases the toxicity of the insecticide in the nets and helps control resistance.
Based on this information, it's clear this part of the organization is virtually controlled by a foreign investor who benefits greatly from the center. For example, mosquitoes found in Ghana are not the same as those found in Vietnam, where Vestergaard does its production of mosquito-treated nets. So the Ghana lab at Noguchi is extremely important to the company. It means that if the department were to be solely manned by the government of Ghana, mosquito-treated nets could have been produced for the rest of the continent, perhaps a place that government should turn its attention to concerning the one district, one factory. This is the general norm at the Noguchi Memorial Institute, as every department virtually depends on funding sources outside, which skews the research interest. Dr. Evelyn Yaira Boni at the Virology Department has been researching into HIV/AIDS for years and fears this is setting the nation back.
What I would say is that sometimes the priorities are different. For instance, we have to keep going back to funding. So what we need as a nation, maybe I need to do that research, but the person funding the research is an external organization, and their priority is different from the priorities here. And so I would do more of what I'm getting money to do and less of what sometimes is important for us as a nation, but because there's no national funding, I cannot do.
Head of Virology, Professor William Kwabena Ampofo, says since 2009, Noguchi has not received any funding for research from government.
I mean, the last time we did get support from the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, was in 2010, when we had the swine flu, scare. I think last year you heard about the Kumaka, issue where we found the flu in some of the students, and that has emphasized our need for a regular budget from the from government.
From the development of disease-resistant drugs for malaria to tuberculosis, it's obvious Noguchi could be an asset to the country.
Now, it is estimated that 56% of the world's population still depend on traditional healing techniques. 80% of Africa's population is also set to take some form of herbal medication. Despite the advent of modern medicine, herbal products are still enjoying some good patronage in our part of the world. In a repeat of the Joy Business Van, we catch up with one woman at the Nima market who has been in the business of herbal medicine for over 50 years.
Hadia Fuseina is in her mid-60s. She's one of the popular traditional medicine sellers at the Nima market here in Accra. Today, we've come to see her to try to understand the industry.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Lafiya lau. Ya kasuwa. Mun gode ma Allah. Komi na lafiya. Okay, to yau mun zo mu duba.
Hadia has been in this for over 50 years. She started in her teens, a family business passed on from one generation to the other. Her knowledge about herbs is based on what she was taught by her family. Hadia sells everything from herbs to cure any kind of ailment, asthma, diabetes, malaria, fever, to sex enhancement and spiritual potions, some to ward off evil spirits and even charms. Herbal medicines have stood the test of time and are usually the last resort when modern medicine fails. People come here a lot, Hajia says. When they are satisfied with her mixture, they refer other people to her. Most of her clients are based on referrals, and they are from different backgrounds, be it Muslim, Christian, young, old, men, women, rich or poor. Her herbs cost as low as 5 cedis and as much as 50 cedis. Dealers like her can make 100 cedis or more a day. But just like any business, Hajia tells us the market could go up and down, sometimes good, other times bad. The truth is that most of these traditional medicines have not been tested and approved. Things are changing, and Hajia admits that. Mampong in the eastern region is the location of the Center for Scientific Research into Plant Medicine, an institution for research into herbal medicine. It was set up in 1976 by government, producing its own herbal medicines. Dr. Alfred Ampoma Apia is Deputy Executive Director at the center.
Originally, it started as production for the clinic. So we have quite different products for various disease conditions, including malaria, arthritis, anemia, enteric fever, various conditions. And we have about 30 different products that we produce here for our clinic, and sometimes we give them to other clinics or hospitals to be used for their patients.
Some 16,000 people use the products of the Center for Treatment of Various Ailments. Dr. Pia says this could put Ghana at a competitive advantage if there is more investment.
The world is also moving towards the use of natural products. In the developed world that they have used a lot of these synthetics and other things, they are now thinking about natural products. Even technology is moving towards green technology. The whole world is moving towards green. And that gives a country like Ghana a great advantage to quickly mobilize ourselves and focus a lot on developing herbal medicine, train a lot of scientists in these areas, and develop products and put it on the world market.
There are many private firms that are springing up manufacturing herbal products on a large scale. But for Hajia and traders like her, the edge they have in the face of changing trends is their ability to solve spiritual problems. She's not scared she'll run out of business. 2 of her children are already taken after her.
And of course, reminding you of Joy Business Health and Wellness Show, which comes up on the 24th of May and end on 26th May. Of course, it's going to cover all aspects of herbal medicines as well as conventional medicines as well. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Thank you very much for watching the Marketplace for today. Let's meet again same time tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.